Hi everyone. So we've had a ton of questions about adoption. One of our biggest questions being about pricing of adoption. When you're considering adoption, you need to think of all the different ways that you can adopt. There's domestic adoption, which means adopting just from the US. There's international adoption. There is foster care adoption. There's private adoption. So there's all different ways to adopt, and there's no right or wrong way. We did private adoption, so that's kind of the pricing that I'm going to break down for you because I can't really speak on behalf of other adoption routes. I'm just going to give general ballparks. You also need to keep in mind that every state is different. Every agency, if you go with an agency, is different. Make sure you're doing all your research prior. Talk to as many people as you can. Hopefully this will kind of lead you in the right direction as far as what to start saving. The first expense that you're going to have through private adoption is if you're going to go through an agency. Keep in mind that agencies are just for the purpose of marketing. So they're not going to be your lawyers, they're not going to be your social workers. They are literally just there to help you find a match. I would say that your adoption agency is probably going to run you about $16,000 to $20,000. Again, this is just ballpark. It could be less than that and it could be more than that. These are just average prices. After you have an agency, or if you decide to not go through an agency, no matter what, you have to do your home studies. Home studies are probably going to range anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000. This differs on state because each state has different guidelines on like how many pre-placement visits you have and how many post-placement visits you have, and you're going to have to pay for each of those visits. You'll have your legal fees. This is probably the most expensive part of a private adoption, and it's going to range between $5,000 and I'm going to go up to $15,000. Could be more, it could be less. Keep in mind that you have your adoption lawyer. The infant has their own, it's called a guardian ad litem, which is essentially their adoption lawyer. And then depending on the state, depending on the circumstances, if birth mother wants their own lawyer, you could be responsible for those charges as well. They're the most important fees that you're going to pay. So that's what's going to finalize your adoption. That's what's going to get you through every necessary step that you need. Another expense that you're going to want to keep in mind called birth mother expenses. So this is exactly what it sounds like, and this is typically during the third trimester of pregnancy. Be anything from like helping them with their utility bills, helping them with their grocery bills, with their rent, just anything really that birth mother needs help with. Each state might have a different limit of what you can contribute to birth mother expenses. Some states have caps and some states don't have any regulations at all. This is something that you need to look into from each state that you're adopting through, especially if you're going to adopt nationwide, okay? Because your state might have a different limit than the state that you're adopting through, and your lawyer will know the different guidelines. Travel expenses are going to be another big one. If you're adopting nationwide, you're going to want to travel probably there to meet the birth mother. You're going to travel there when the baby's born. So you're going to want to save up for those times that you're going to need to travel to that state. Now I know all of these numbers kind of add up fast and it's kind of scary when you think about it. Adoption is a big expense. If you're going the private route, again, I'm not talking about foster care adoption. I'm not talking about international adoption. I'm talking about average cost of domestic newborn adoption. But also something great to think about is that the US gives an adoption tax credit. It's not something that's paid to you. It's not like a lump sum of money that's paid, but this amount is deducted from what you're paying into your federal taxes. So if you have to pay in $5,000 every year for taxes, well, they're going to deduct that $5,000 until you reach the adoption tax credit. Or you can get less money taken out of your taxes every year as you're paying in through your paychecks until you reach that adoption tax credit. I want to say the adoption tax credit is around $14,300. Tax credit is not available to you until that child is legally adopted. Hopefully this video was helpful for anyone considering adoption. Again, I know this was just kind of ballpark number, but at least it points you in the right direction, what to start saving if you are considering adoption. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube, follow us on TikTok, and if you have any questions, feel free to follow my Instagram. You guys take care.